Good morning. It's Vijay here. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. Today is Friday, 19th September 2025. Yesterday was a very interesting day in the markets and outside the markets also. So let's discuss that what happened after the markets before we go into what happened during the markets. So yesterday, so before that, the title of today's topic is Meethi Choori. People who don't understand Hindi, the translation very literally is a sweet knife, or what we call a sweet assassin. People who talk good in one day and they try to stab you in the back. That is what Meethi Choori is all about. And the person or entity here is Donald Trump, who has been praising Modi for the last few days. He wished him on his 75th birthday. Prior to that, he said India is a dead country, and he criticized Modi, the prime minister. And now, yesterday, in his banquet speech in the UK, where he is currently touring, he mentioned that Prime Minister Modi, is his very close friend, and he would like to do a deal. But he has still imposed a 50% tariff because India is buying oil, and he exhorted other countries which are buying oil from Russia to stop buying. India is buying oil from Russia, therefore he has put the 50% tariff is what he said. Later in the evening, we got a shocking news where US has now sanctioned Chabahar port in Iran. Now, Chabahar port in Iran has been developed by India through it's a public sector organization which has developed the Chabahar port, and they have now sanctioned it. US has sanctioned it from September 29, 2025, which means any activity there you'll have further sanctions. So we cannot now do any activity in Chabahar port. We cannot use Chabahar port for any of our ships to dock there, or any other related activity, let's say building fresh, or it could be infrastructure, it could be building the port itself in terms of the harbor, and so on and so forth. Basically, they have banned any activity connected to Chabahar port, and they will sanction any entity which is any way connected remotely to Chabahar port. So India is going to get sanctioned from September 29th, which is a very harsh action by US. In fact, we have spent about $120 million over a 10-year period, and we thought it is a strategic port. And in fact, US had removed it from the sanctions because they felt it is a good thing to have a running port in Iran. But now that they're sanctioning Iran left, right, center, so Chabahar port is the latest casualty. So we have to live with it. Yesterday, the markets looked like they're going to go down and go into negative. They almost went into negative when around 2:30 p.m. the CEA, the Chief Economic Advisor of the India, Mr. Ananta Nageshwaran, made a remark saying that the additional tariffs will go away in next 6 to 8 weeks and 8 to 10 weeks. And we will also see that other 25% will come down to, say, 15% is what he said, because talks are going on. Of course, he added saying that he doesn't have any inside information. But the market took it up as positive, significantly positive, because he's put a deadline of 8 to 10 weeks, which is by end of November. So the markets took off, and the Nifty almost closed at a century, or 93 points. Bank Nifty hit a double century of around 240 points. So there was, it was gloom and doom at 2:30, but in the last 1 hour, it was boom, everyone could say. So people went with great expectations. FIIs continued, not continued. FIIs surprisingly bought some money, bought something. Before that, let me just tell you what happened on each of the components in the market. The Nifty gained 3 days in a row. It closed about 25,400. Bank Nifty was up second day, closed about 55,700. AU Bank was a surprise leader there. Mid cap and small cap went up for 10th straight session. Pharma was the top sectoral gainer. Biocon, which we had discussed in the morning, came up with some collaboration, and that went up significantly. Laurus Labs also went up. IT went up for the third day in succession, which is very strange. FMCG, it ended the 4-day fall, and I think it is bottoming out because from Monday onwards, new rules as far as GST will come into consideration. So you will have a lot of talk and focus on FMCG. Metals ended higher. NMDC did well. Auto went up third day in a row. Exide and Ashok Leyland were the leaders there. Energy was the top sectoral loser. But remember, energy had gone up 6 days in succession. PSU Bank ended their 3-day rise. IOB, Punjab, and Sindh Bank were the major losers. So FIS bought about 367 crores. DIS bought 3,300 crores, so about 3,700 crores is the net positive investment by FIS. So what happened globally? Globally, all the markets took off. In fact, Asia did very well, especially Japan, which went up, I think, around 900 points. Today, it's up by 300 points. Dow Jones was up 200 points. S&P also did well. Incidentally, Dow Jones, S&P, and Nasdaq, all of them made all-time highs. DAX, which had lost significantly the previous day, bounced back yesterday, but did not recover the whole losses, but it did do well. The French market, which continues to surprise because there is a lot of political instability in France, but yet French market did well. The commodities, Brent was about 67.5, neither here nor there. Gold and silver tried to recover, but there is some amount of selling at higher levels, which was expected because you see they've gone up too fast, as I mentioned, about 10% in the last 1 month itself. Copper was steady. So generally, nothing great to speak on metals. Even this dollar index was around 97. It had gone to 95.9 or something like that on the Fed day, but Fed decision day. But sooner or later, I think dollar will continue to go down. So there another good news actually for Adani Group. SEBI has exonerated them. They said there is no problem at all with the group. That what Hindenburg talked about in January 9, 2023 is all bogus. So therefore, a clean sheet would mean that Adani Group stocks will be in focus today. What about, and then there is the Moody's on Indian NBFCs. They are a little bearish, so there could be a negative implication on NBFCs today. They expect the retail loans to lead to new NPAs, but that is in the future. But in Indian NBFCs could be under pressure as far as Moody is concerned. Then what are the stocks to watch? Other stocks would be Cenorus Pharma. They made an investment of about $2 million. Thomas Cook has launched a new Thomas Cook, the arm of Thomas Cook is Sterling Holiday, has launched a Sterling Hibbs Velo Resort, so it may be benefited slightly. Then you have PNC Infratech. They got an order, and Mukka Proteins, which we unfortunately hold. I think they got a tax demand of about 141 crores, including interest and penalties. So that may be under pressure. The reason we held Mukka Proteins was because you see there is this talk of government giving specific advantages to exporters, and Mukka Proteins is an exporter. So we thought they'll get some advantage there, but we don't know how to handle it. We'll see how to handle it. There's two other interesting points before I close. One is somebody has done an analysis of the Alliance Insurance Brokers. They did an analysis of mutual fund inflows, and they found nearly 50% is coming from millennials and Gen Z accounts. Yeah, so normally the youngsters don't invest in the market through mutual funds. Either they are traders or they are short-term investors, but which they directly do. Only the middle level, that is about 35 to 40 and 35 plus age people generally are the mutual fund investors, is what the general impression is, and it was there as far as the statistics also was concerned. But now, interestingly, 50%, nearly 50% are the youngsters who are coming into their professions, who are now putting money into mutual funds, which augurs well for the long term. Then another interesting point is there is something called Shiller's P ratio. Generally, if Shiller P ratio is taken on the S&P 500, if it is more than 40, markets should be in trouble. Right now we have reached 40 as far as the S&P 500 P ratio is concerned. Shiller P ratio is slightly different. Shiller is an American economist, professor, and he has come up with this ratio slightly, changing the traditional PE ratio, and that is now 40. The highest it has ever reached was in the dot com boom, which was around 44. So I think we are in something like a dot com boom. Today we are in what I would call an AI boom, and so we may still reach 44, which will mean that the S&P 500 should go to close to about 7,200, 300. I have a feeling we may even exceed that. That is why my target for S&P 500 is about 7,500, and therefore I was thinking, reflecting on Nifty, we may reach about 28, 29,000. But there are many obstacles like this day in and day out. We're having some problem from America, so we may struggle much more than what S&P is doing is what I'm thinking of. But you never know. We may still go to those numbers. I won't be surprised if we see an all-time highs sometime before budget. This is what my thinking is. But for the day, I'll be a little bit more cautious today because we have had a good run. So there could be some profit booking today, especially for the geopolitics. But Adani stocks may do well. So maybe punters in Adani may make money on the long side. There could be money also on the FMCG on the long side. So all in all, I think it will be a volatile day. So do I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.